A very good morning to one and all. Myself, Sadashivrao, heading the Department of Pharmacy Practice, Hindu College of Pharmacy, Guntur. As a co-convener of today's program, it gives me an immense pleasure to greet you all here. A warm welcome to distinguished speaker, Dr. Adapu Ramesh Garu, Principal of Vikas College of Pharmacy, Suryapeta, and former Professor of JSS College of Pharmacy, Mysore. A warm welcome to Sri Jupudi Rangaraj Garu, Chairman of Hindu College of Pharmacy. He is a renowned lawyer in Guntur city, politician, social activist. A warm welcome to Dr. S. Masudan Rao Garu, Secretary and Correspondent, Hindu College of Pharmacy. He is a leading doctor in Guntur and visionary of Hindu College of Pharmacy. Welcome, sir. A warm welcome to Dr. Manno Radhakrishnamurthy Garu, a honorary chairman, famous diabetologist, PCI member, formed the Education Regulation Committee member. Welcome, sir. A warm welcome to Dr. R. Govindarajan Garu, Principal of Hindu College of Pharmacy, the HOD, Professor and HOD of Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry. Welcome, sir. A warm welcome to Dr. A. Sunita Ma'am, Vice Principal and Head of the Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis. Welcome, ma'am. A warm welcome to today's program convener, P. Sitaramaya Garu, Pharmacy Director and OSD. Welcome, sir. Finally, a warm welcome to all the registered delegates, faculty members, and my own colleagues of the Department of Pharmacy Practice, Dr. Rispa ma'am, Dr. Faizan Ali sir, Dr. Shrishita ma'am, and Dr. Manas Kumar sir, and my technical team, Sridhar. A warm welcome to all of you. A warm welcome to this international webinar series, Hcop CLINICA 2020 on recent advances in pharmacy practice. I would like to invite P. Sitaramaya sir, program convener and the pharmacy director, to give an inaugural address of this meeting. Over to Sitaramaya sir.
Okay, thank you, Sadashivrao. Respected Chairman sir and Secretary as Correspondent, Dr. Masudan Rao Garu, Sri Jupudi Rangaraj Garu, and Honorary Chairman, Dr. Manno Radhakrishnamurthy Garu, Principal Govindarajan, Vice Principal Sunita Madam, and my dear colleagues. I have great pleasure in addressing today's gathering. We are very happy to have Dr. Adapu Ramesh Garu as a guest to discuss about the future generation of pharmacists. And sir, with your permission, I would like to say a few words about the famous hospital pharmacists. So with your permission, sir, few minutes.
Yeah, please, sir.
I hope the present generation, they are not aware of the pharmacists who have tried for the betterment of the hospital pharmacies in our country. So I would like to tell you my experience few minutes, because it was in the 1970s when a IV infusion tragedy occurred in Kanpur Hospital. The government of India has appointed a committee to go into the functioning of the hospital pharmacies in major hospitals. And the chairman was Jaisukulal Hathi. He was the chairman of that committee. The committee has gone through the event and investigated all the aspects. They have come to the conclusion the tragedy was because of the manufacture of IV fluids, and the unit was headed by non-pharmacy person, and they have used preservatives for the large volume parenterals, which are not permitted as per the Indian pharmacopoeial requirements. So finally, they have recommended their proposal to the government of India. All the hospitals, wherever there is a manufacturing, they have to appoint qualified B.Pharm or M.Pharm graduates. Wherever there is manufacturing, distribution, depending upon the type of the hospital, size of the beds, they have recommended one for qualified postgraduate, preferably to supervise the manufacture of products, and one for analysis. So they have recommended two, one manufacturing and other for analysis. Similarly, in 7980, since I happen to be in Delhi, I know most of the hospitals, according to their recommendations, they have appointed qualified pharmacists. For example, Lady Harding Hospital, they have appointed Mr. Gupta, who was a M.Pharm postgraduate. Irvin Hospital, they have appointed Dr. Ramana, who is from Andhra Pradesh. He did from Andhra University. Like that, R&D Institute, I was appointed. So, in addition to that, Dr. B.D. Miglani, who was earlier hospital pharmacist and who was the principal of Delhi College of Pharmacy, he has taken a lot of interest to conduct training for those hospital pharmacists who were already working to update their knowledge. And he was all helped by Dr. S.L. Nasa, who was the PCA member up to last year. Now he is the registrar of Delhi Pharmacists Association, State Pharmacists Association. Similarly, there were some others who have morally supported Dr. G.K. Narayanan, who was the principal of Pusa College of Pharmacy, Dr. J.S. Kadri, who was the principal of Hamdard College of Pharmacy, and Dr. D.K. Jain, who was the secretary, Pharmacy Council of India. So all these people have helped. That's how they were able to conduct so many training programs. And in those days, CMC Vellore was very famous. Mr. Sujit Das, who was heading the CMC Vellore Pharmacy, he has tried his level best to organize the hospital pharmacy in a better way. Then Dr. Hcop, who was CMC Hospital Chief of the Pharmacy Services Ludhiana, he has also done his level best to improve the hospital pharmacy. And in Jasalak Hospital, Bombay, it was Dr. Goyatande, Miss Goyatande, who was in charge of those hospitals. So later on, the Pharmacy Council of India President Dr. B. Suresh Garu, he has taken with the Ministry of Health, and he has started the Pharma-D, and our people are all aware of that. So those who have worked earlier, sir, Dr. B.D. Miglani, who is the one who started Indian Journal of Hospital Pharmacy, and NASA and D.K. Jain, they were all his colleagues who have helped fought for the for upliftment of pharmacists and their training. So we have to remember them because Dr. B.D. Miglani is no more, D.K. Jain is no more. So I thought this is the occasion to remember them, to pay tributes to them. Then the NIPER issues, the Delhi Association of Pharmacists, IPA branch of Delhi, headed by Dr. Paravinder Singh, who was the CEO of the Ranbaxy. Under his leadership, the Delhi Pharmacists Association, IPA branch, IHPA branch, IPGA branch, they all represented the government of India for establishment of NIPERs. And all these members, then Health Minister Dr. Karnal Singh, they have met him and gave representations and followed for the establishment of NIPERs, and they have succeeded to get approval for starting NIPER Mahali Chandigarh by sanctioning 500 acres for the establishment of the NIPER hospital, NIPER Institute. So that was the information I wanted to share with our young pharmacists. So my dear pharmacists, I welcome you all. I do not want to take much time. So with this brief information, I welcome Dr. Adepu Ramesh Garu, who was professor and head of the Department of Pharmacy Practice at JSS University, Mysuru. He has served for 25 years and he has got a lot of experience in teaching, research. He has guided 45 graduates. Some of them are doing research under him. Not only that, in order to save the foreign currency, he has started CLINICA-2, the drug information service, and the patient medication charts and others online system they have started under the name CLINICA-2. And I wish some more younger generation people will come with such novel ideas and try to replace the foreign companies with the Indian companies and thus save the foreign currency. Thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And on behalf of our management, I will thank you. So thank you, Sadashiva Rao. Next, you can go.
I would like to invite Dr. S. Madhusudan Rao Garu, Secretary and Correspondent, Hindu College of Pharmacy, Guntur, to address today's meeting. Over to the Secretary, sir. Sir, please. Sridhar.
Yeah, Sada.
Sir,
Yeah, just.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
yes, sir. Audible, sir. Sir, please.
Ramesh, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Just coming on behalf of the management, and I am just now in OP, that's why I could not talk to you. I wish you all the best, and it's a great opportunity for all of our students to have interaction with you, sir.
Thank you.
And may I talk later also? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
What?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to invite Sri Jupudi Rangaraju Garu, Chairman of Hindu College of Pharmacy, to address the today's meeting. Over to Chairman, sir.
So that's a SAR is not in line.
Yeah. Okay. Next, I would like to invite Vice Principal Ma'am, Dr. A. Sunita, Vice Principal, HOD of the Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis. Ma'am, please welcome ma'am to address today's meeting. Over to Vice Principal, ma'am.
Yeah, sir. Good morning, sir. I am Dr. A. Sunita, Vice Principal. Nice seeing you. So we are eagerly waiting for your lecture. I would like to thank for accepting our invitation to address the gathering. We will interact with you after end of the session, sir, after finishing your lecture. I thank to Sadashiva Rao and Sita Ramay Garu for providing such a wonderful opportunity. Hope we are eagerly waiting for your lecture. After finishing that, I would like to interact with you. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to invite Principal R. Govindarajan, sir, Hindu College of Pharmacy, to address today's meeting.
ఎందుకు రెడీ అయ్యి వచ్చారు మీరు మామూలుగా
Sridhar, sir, ఉన్నారా?
Let me check. No, sir.
Okay. I would like to invite Dr. Sheikh Faizan Ali to introduce today's chief guest and speaker, Dr. Adipu Ramesh Garu. Please welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Dr. Sheikh Faizan Ali, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmacy Practice, Hindu College of Pharmacy, Guntur, sir. I heartily welcome to all the delegates participating in international webinar series of Hcop CLINICA 2020 on recent advances in pharmacy practice. Today's topic is skills required for next generation pharmacist by Aduku Ramesh sir. We heartily welcome to our resource person, Dr. Aduku Ramesh Garu, who is a principal cum director at Vikas College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Suryapet, Telangana. Sir is a former professor and head of the department of pharmacy practice, JSS College of Pharmacy, Mysore, with a glorious career spanning for more than 2.5 decades as an acclaimed academician and researcher at the Department of Pharmacy Practice, JSS College of Pharmacy, Mysore. Sir has involved in teaching of undergraduate and postgraduate students and supervising their research. Sir has coordinated national and international funded research projects. Sir is currently working as Principal cum Director at Vikas College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Suryapet, Telangana. Sir is functioning as Chairman at Hospital Pharmacy Division at Indian Pharmaceutical Association. Sir has been a key resource person for numerous training programs, national and international conferences, and workshops in the field of community pharmacy practice, clinical pharmacy practice, and pharmacovigilance. Sir is a life member of Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Indian Hospital Pharmacists Association, Association of Pharmacy Teachers of India, and also an international member of International Pharmaceutical Federation, Pharmaceutical Society of Australia, International Society of Pharmacoepidemiology, and American College of Clinical Pharmacists. Sir is actively involved in capacity building and training of participating pharmacists and practicing pharmacists and PharmD students. He has guided more than 45 postgraduate students, 25 PharmD dissertations, and 1 PhD student. Apart from delivering presentations at various national and international forums, Sir has 55 research publications in various peer-reviewed national and international journals, 3 textbook chapters, and 1 textbook to his credit. He has successfully completed 40 lakh worth funded projects from various governmental agencies such as UGC, AICTE, and AIOCD. His professional expertise translated into development of first indigenous clinical decision support system named as CLINICA-2, a one-stop solution for evidence-based drug information, and ACPE standard clinical pharmacy documentation and evaluation software to build the professional competencies among PharmD students. CLINICA is marketed by Taiji Innovations Private Limited, a startup company approved by Government of India under his leadership as Chief Operating Officer. I wish thank you. Welcome, sir.
Sir, please welcome, sir.
Thank you, Sadashiva Guru. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Sitaramaya, for giving me opportunity to share my thoughts, my views for the budding professionals, because the next generation is theirs. So what we have been given an opportunity to learn, understood the concept of profession, professional practices. It is, if it is sincerely passed on to them, and if they learn in a very, with a kind of passion, definitely they'll flourish in the profession and they'll become the models for the next generations. So that's the reason I felt the topic when Dr. Sitaramaya asked to be given, I felt the next generation pharmacists. Before I go on to the actual presentation, my sincere thanks to the hierarchy of Hindu College of Pharmacy, the chairman, then the secretary, principal, vice principal, head of the department, and other faculty members and the beloved students. The topic what I have given, I'm just trying to share now and then make a presentation of the topic. I'll just go. Can I just 1 second? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
This topic is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is
Yes, sir, yes,
visible,
sir.
sir.
Advancing pharmacy practice, next generation pharmacists.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's
Clear, sir.
visible? Right.
Sir,
So,
hello.
yeah.
Yes, sir, please disable the participant annotation, sir. It is in the more options, sir.
Okay, just 1 second.
Yeah.
More option.
Yeah, in more option.
Mm. 1 second. I'll just do that. Yeah, in more option, what we have, that
Disable participant annotation.
is attendant annotation. Okay. Fine. Now I did it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now we'll go on to the presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, friends. Yeah. Is the whole thing is visible to you? The slide is visible to you now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. The topic I have chosen, that is next generation pharmacists advancing the pharmacy practice, means basically in recent times there was so much of halla gulla regarding the role of the pharmacists, especially during the pandemic which erupted, and the whole government was speaking only about the doctors, they were speaking about the nurses, they were speaking about the uh, sanitation workers, and then they were also speaking about the police personnel. It's wonderful, but ultimately the people who give the life to the medicines, though the doctors give life to the people, but through the medicines they give the life to the people. But the life to the medicines who give, that is a pharmacist, they were not spoken anywhere, any platform, that yeah, we respect pharmacists, that they are coming out with the medications, they are giving actually life. Now today it is all, everybody speaking about the medicines, that is what we are going to give is the pharmacist. So our recognition is not so high in our own country. Our recognition unfortunately is limited. We are identified by the society only as pharmacists who fill the prescriptions. Beyond that, we don't have any kind of recognition. Why this situation is that our curriculum is not adequate enough that we can build the confidence and we can walk along with the doctors and make a change in the prescription and influence on the prescription and influence on the therapy and bring the smile on the faces of the patients? Or aren't there any opportunities where we can showcase our talents? Or is the system is like this? Are the trainers, the teachers who are supposed to teach the concept to the students is also not adequate enough. There are all the questions which come in the minds of everybody, because if you look into the government exchequer, a good portion of the funds come from the pharmacy field to them, but still the pharmacists are backseated, because we feel sometimes we wanted to behind the counters. That's the reason they are also not encouraging us to come forward, and probably we are not given that opportunity or probably that recognition. But now it is a time which we have to think whether we should be in the forefront, prove that yes, we are the part of the healthcare team, healthcare warriors. I don't know, it all depends on us. It's very, very important. We have to give a serious thought to this, and definitely we have to flourish, definitely bring laurels to our profession. So that's the reason I felt, yeah, now, yeah, we speak many things about the pharmacy profession, or many issues or many concepts are taught, but this is what I feel is the budding professionals should give a thought, because um, yeah, after I relocated to Telangana, I spoke to many PharmD graduates, and majority PharmD graduates, they tell we don't have any opportunity, we are not getting right jobs. Jobs, they are available. Even I have spoken to so many hospitals, especially the clinical pharmacist positions in Mumbai. The chairmans, they themselves have asked me, can you give me like 10 excellent clinical pharmacists? Here the word excellent mean one who is completely competent enough to deliver what is expected to be as a clinical pharmacist. That is what is the expectation of Hinduja Hospital. It's not a small hospital, a good corporate hospital. The chairman of the hospital, when he harassed, absolutely indicates that they are looking forward for the people who are fully talented, having that acumen to do the work with zeal, with the passion. Only that kind of the people they are looking forward. So I don't know how many of us really have these kind of the qualities in us. So that's the reason I felt just to ignite some thoughts in these budding professionals, in the future pharmacists, future professionals, future policymakers. Just to have a thought about it. That's the reason I just kept this title. Let's move on to the topic. All of us know in the last few decades, the number of medicines which are increased in multifold, mainly depending upon to meet the clinical situations. Even currently, every pharmaceutical company is zeal to come out a solution for the current pandemic. Already the trials for the vaccine is on, and DCJ has permitted, and already the Faviflu is in the market. See, this is a challenge. Whenever there is a challenge, obviously the solution in the form of medicine, which added numbers to the current list of medicines. Today we have almost more than 5,000 drug molecules which are approved and which are marketed. Just imagine 5,000 drug molecules, and we have a lot of patients with comorbidities who are given prescriptions which are polypharmacy, like minimum 5 to 6 medicines for every patient, asked to take multiple drugs. Apart from that, OTC medications. I don't know. This is the situation. And another serious situation, especially in our country, only 20% of the health care is offered by the government. People speak anything, but ultimately it is only 20% of the public get the public, that is the government supported healthcare. The remaining 80% they go to the private. You have to pay for it. Now, with this pandemic threat, if a person contracts with the virus and hospitalized in corporate hospital, it runs to minimum 10 to 20 lakhs. Fellow can't afford. What is the situation? People with middle class financial status, what is their fate? They have to sell out everything. Then next, what is the life? But in western part of the world, especially in Australia, which I have seen, its healthcare is completely federal funded. The government takes care. So obviously, whenever the government is trying to put money, government will think whether it is appropriately we are spending. Even for a tablet, they think, is it a right medication for this patient? But when it comes to the question of the person is paying for it, obviously the prescriber does not have any mercy. Whether it is needed or not, there will be medications just for the sake of filling the prescription, just to give a kind of the patient will be told, you are given the best medicines. But the question of rationality, it's a concern there. And the limited financial resources, as I already mentioned, raising cost of healthcare team. In India, still we don't have sufficient healthcare force. 140 crore people, according to WHO, for every 2,000 people there is a requirement of pharmacists. And we don't have that much of force, which is in active form to support the public. It is not there. This is the biggest challenge. And to support the patients who can't afford the third party payments, now it is slowly rising. Earlier it was not a well known concept, but it is slowly picking up even in India, like third party payments, like health insurances and all that. You're slowly just getting into it. Still time to go that everybody becomes a member of insurance system, and whenever there is a health challenge, to meet the hospitalization expenditures and other things, probably to some extent that will support the patients. This is all the challenges. And another big problem is accessibility and the quality of the medications. This is another big challenge. Spurious medications, we often see in the papers, the quality of medicines which are available in a pharmacy are not up to the standard. And prescriptions given by the clinicians, not of having any rationality. So rational use of medicines, this is another challenge. All of us know, whether you accept it or not, it's everyone is watching, everyone is seeing in the society. A pharmacist who is either in the hospital pharmacy or in a community pharmacy, majority of them, especially in community setting, majority of them are only with the diploma in pharmacy. And the most pathetic situation is, if you go to any community pharmacy, 60 to 70% invariably the pharmacist is not there. It is only the certificate is hired. A business person who is able to invest, he will be running the show. but the certificate of the pharmacist is hanged on the wall saying that he is the pharmacist. So he is not a pharmacist, he is a ghost pharmacist. This is the reality. Whether you accept it or not, this is the reality. When medicines are sold, when medicines are to be sold by a qualified person in the pharmacy, if they are handled by a non-pharmacy person, only the interest will be the trade, no profession, no professional practices. This is the situation. Even if you go to the hospitals, pharmacies are run by the nursing homes or the doctors, and the pharmacists, because of the law is requiring, they will be there. 1 or 2 pharmacists will be there, and the remaining the assistants who are non-qualified, and medicines are sold. If this is the scenario, what is the difference between the pharmacists who are in the retailing, who are in the hospital pharmacists, and a fellow is working in the supermarket? They are also wearing, majority supermarkets, even the salespeople, they wear the aprons. But unfortunately here, people don't wear the apron also. Only in hospitals, probably they may wear. This is the scenario. What I'm talking is the current scenario. So what is the need of the hour is, our mindset has to be changed. The thought process has to be changed. Instead of being as a drug seller, where even the pharmacist is the sole proprietor and runs the show, from the status of drug seller, rather the pharmacist, we should become as drug therapy managers. If that status, if it comes, I'm 100% sure there will be tremendous recognition for the pharmacists in the society. It's a very astounding report. In the US, a survey is conducted to rate the professionals by the public, and the pharmacists are rated in the top 3, where the doctors are given a status of 35th or 36th, top 3, third position. It's only because they are much accessible to the public, and they give the care to the patients, and they give that helping hand, consoling hand, and support to the patient. That's what every human individual looks at. And that's the reason the pharmacists are given that status. Now it is the question for us, where is our status? It is just proven in the last, in this pandemic. No one spoke about the pharmacists. It's only always any politician or a minister, even prime minister spoke, everybody spoke only about doctors, nurses, and the sanitation workers, and then the police personnel, but not pharmacists. Are not we the part of the healthcare system? Are we not the healthcare force? This is the big question we have to put for ourselves. Because health is a precious resource. Everyone knows about it. A society which is healthy only will flourish. Today, because of this pandemic, everybody went into the lockdown situation. Nobody was working. Probably to some extent, some people are working remotely, online, but does not contribute much. You know what is the loss financially by to the government? As of now, India had lost 60 lakh crore in the last 3 months. The calculations were made by the government of India. If no coronavirus, all would have been healthy, all would have happy to work and generate a lot of money. That 60 lakh crore would have been saved for the country. That's why health is very, very precious resource. This is only with pandemic, this is the loss. Imagine people with lifestyle disorders, comorbidities, definitely affecting the exchequer. According to the WHO, health, it is not just free from the symptoms, and it has changed to positive concept of emphasizing social and personal resources as well as physical capacities. One who is physically fit, psychologically fit, spiritually fit, socially fit, only then individual is called as a healthy human individual. Only such people will contribute for the growth of the society. And they influence the national productivity and the economy of the country. So it is very, very important that the society should be healthy, public should be healthy. When the question of public health comes, pharmacist takes much lead role because they are the most easily accessible healthcare professionals for all ailments. It is a first stop solution. When the pharmacist feel you need a consultation, the pharmacist convince the patient and advises and guides to a consultant. After the consultation is over, the patient will come back to the pharmacist for getting the medications. It is not just medications, once again, supporting the patient, educating the patient to take the medications in a right way so that the health outcomes are achieved. So in that way, definitely pharmacist plays a vital role. As I've said, the pharmacological intervention in managing any disease, that is the primary step. Just a great professional, healthcare professional, probably a doctor, MD, DM, excellent diagnostics. He can diagnose the disease quickly and gives a wonderful prescription. If medicines are not taken by the patient, the whole process is of no use. This is the reality. So, not just getting the medicines, even understanding how important the medicines to the individual, knowing how to take them in a systematic way, so thereby the objectives of the prescriptions are achieved. So that's very, very important. As already mentioned, every day we are looking new diseases and so many lifestyle disorders which are mandating for the support from the pharmacies or the new medications, like for example baldness, dry skin, wrinkles, erectile dysfunctions. Yeah, they are all the people who want support from the healthcare professionals. Many doctors, they run the pharmacies in their clinics, and unfortunately the government has permitted for the online marketing. So many pharmacies are not the regular community pharmacies, online pharmacy stores. It's a business. So when all these are happening, the question arises, do we still need pharmacists? And what is the value of the pharmacy services? These are the very two important questions which comes to public mind. Do we still pharmacists? Any pharmacy, if you go, his pharmacist is there. You just run in and ask for any medication. You don't require prescription. He'll fill, he'll give the medication, whatever it is. And then where is a question of pharmacist service there? Dispensing word, does it has any meaning? Question to think about it. With all this, a big question arises. Is pharmacy a profession? What is the definition of profession? Let us just explore. According to Oxford Dictionary, Webster, many dictionaries, they define any individual who is having the knowledge and the skill to do a particular work which is supporting the public is called as a professional. Starting from the doctor, engineer, lawyer, nurse, everybody is a professional. Is a pharmacist is a professional. Question is, we learn every concept, how to prepare medicines, that is a knowledge. What kind of ingredients we have to put in, that is a knowledge. We know different types of the formulations. We understand making the different types of the formulations. We learn the skill to prepare them, including the novel drug delivery systems, mechanized medications, and we know how to fill the prescriptions, dispense them with labeling and educating the patient. So one side you are flooded with the knowledge, other side you are given skills. But still, are we considered as professionals? We should question for ourselves. We have been given enough training how to dispense the medicines. But what we do is only fill the prescriptions. There is a prescription, take out the medicines from the racks, put it in a tray, bill it, just pass it. Which equally happens in the DMart. Yeah, you just dump everything in a tray, take there. One by one, they take it with scanner, they scan everything, then the pricing is done and they stock it properly and they just put it in a right fashion, put it in the bags and then pack it and neatly give along with the bill. Pay for it. What is it we are adding there? What value we are adding when we are dispensing one inhaler to the patient? All pharmacists, let us question ourselves. Am I selling the medicine? Am I giving this inhaler to the patient? Am I dispensing the insulin pen to my patient? Does my patient know how to use that pen? I sell tons and tons of pessaries, but does my patient know how to use it or chew it? I don't know. It's a wonderful, soft, little big tablet. This is the scenario. Then what value we are adding there? When we add value, people recognize us. It's a simple logic, a simple psychological concern. All of us might be experiencing, when a person is want to cross the road, find it difficult, just go there, offer a helping hand, taking the other side of the road, the fellow will turn back to you and say thank you. This is the recognition. But do we have that in the pharmacy practice? So that is always poses question to me, because we are selling tons and tons of medications, and the medication errors is rising like anything. As a result of this medication errors, directly it is influencing on the cost to the patient, probably more number of medicines or medication error related consequences like adverse drug reactions or drug drug interactions, which is causing the concern for the patient therapeutic outcomes. So thereby what happens, either hospitalization is continued, the more the hospitalization, the more the expenditure to the patient, and the loss of work and decreased health related quality of life. So everything is targeted to the patient only. Ultimately, when the patient himself is struggling, then where is the question of recognizing us? The statistics says 4 to 10% of hospital admissions globally because of the adverse drug reactions. One, drug eruptions, probably very simple medication, paracetamol or any NSAID, induced rashes. To take out that, you have to go to a dermatologist consultation fee, then a big prescription, medication for that. Imagine how much you are spending for just taking out a NSAID induced rash. This is huge. US is spending more than $200 billion only to manage the adverse drug reactions. UK is spending about more than 800 US dollars, US 800 million US dollars for managing the adverse drug reactions. This is almost sufficient enough to treat all the cardiovascular diseases and the metabolic disorders. When the drug budgets are made, healthcare budgets are made, this much money is sufficient enough to give the care to the patients who are with the cardiovascular disorders. But in reverse, which we are spending for managing the adverse drug reaction, that means the medications, when appropriately given, problems will not occur. In presence of a specialist, if it is given, the problems will not occur. And this much of cost will not occur. And there is a huge savings. That is the opportunity of the pharmacists. But unfortunately, we are not encashing that. FIP statement says safety improvements in manufacturing, order, labeling, dispensing, administration, use of medicines is paramount. Hospital pharmacists, especially in the hospitals, they have a lot of opportunity for procuring, stocking, labeling, dispensing, and most important is the safe use of medicines. Very, very important. It's our professional responsibility. It's not just procuring, stocking, putting them in the right temperature, and maintaining the logs and all good. But safe use of medicines is very, very important. We have done this kind of the exercise when I was working in the JSS hospital. Unit dose drug distribution system we have done. We have done the, once the electronic prescription are generated at the pharmacy, then immediately the pharmacy will fill the prescription sent to the ward, and the ward pharmacy activity we have done. As a clinical pharmacist, we have developed it. Card filled drug distribution system. Wonderful response, and there is a tremendous improvement in the patient outcomes. Why we are not continuing that? It is only just set as a tone, being out of the academic interest, in the research interest. Yeah, we have set the tone, and findings are captured and published, but later it's only happening there, but in other hospitals. This is what is the question. To make the pharmacists stand up and lift their face, the only mantra is pharmaceutical care. pharmaceutical care is the ultimate mantra. Whether it is a community pharmacist, whether it is a hospital pharmacist, whether it is a clinical pharmacist, whatever their professional responsibilities, this mantra definitely makes the pharmacist to lift their head and say, yes, I am a healthcare professional. Because this definition, this 2-3 lines is not given just by thinking something and okay, this may be a definition. Oh, come on, you take it as a definition. This definition is derived out of findings for almost a decade of experiments done by the Douglas C. Hepler and Linda M. Strand, who were the professors at the University of Florida at Kings Valley campus. They have done their experiments. I was a student. I was when I joined in my master's pharmacy practice for it was the first time it was introduced in India. We were the first batch students. Very passionate to learn so many things. When we learned about this definition, when we were explained the importance of each and every word of this definition, when we imbibe that, I tell you, we don't require any puja. This itself is a great puja. Janaseva is Janardana Seva. Our Indian tradition says. Responsible provision of drug therapy for the purpose of achieving specific outcomes. Here, the therapeutic outcomes that improves the patient quality of life. It's a definition. Even in midnight, if you are woke up and asked, if it automatically comes, I'm sure you are a pakka professional. You are qualified to be as a pharmacist. Responsible provision of drug therapy. Not just taking a prescription, reading, pulling out the medicines and just putting into a tray and packing and giving and take medication. It's not a responsible provision of the drug. Looking at the prescription, reading the medications, reading whether it is appropriately written or not, the dosing is right, duration is right, any drug interactions are there, checking everything. When you get a doubt, calling back to the doctor, this is what is being written. Are you sure that is the same? I think the literature says this is the dose it should be given, and the patient looks like having a renal challenge, but are you sure you are giving the same dose? If that status comes, pharmacy practice is flushed. Why you wanted to do this? Because the objectives of the prescription, that is minimizing the symptoms or alleviating the symptoms, cure of the disease, that is what is the specific outcome. When you apply your knowledge and skill into that, thereby the patient gets the best therapeutic outcomes and improves, becomes healthy, patient will come back to the normal life, go to the work, earn his money and live happily with his family. That is the patient's health related quality of the life. In pharmaceutical care, the objectives pharmacist identifies, resolves and prevents potential and actual drug related problems. Sipol, he had given the classification of drug related problems. Probably you might have studied in your PharmD curriculum. 8 categories. Of course, there are so many categories. The European classification says 14 categories, but Sipol, in fact, he has given 8, but he has even reduced even to 7, because he has felt that one can be just embedded into the other, and so he has made it into 7. But for understanding purpose, we can have 8 classes, like overdose, these adverse drug reactions, untreated indications, improper drug selection, drug interactions, subtherapeutic doses, drug use without indication, failure to receive drugs. These are all the 8 classes of drug-related problems. Whether these drug-related problems, do they tax? Definitely, because the more the drug-related problems, more will be the health outcomes haphazard. They will be, the health outcomes are jeopardized, and obviously you have to stay for a longer time in the hospital, and then you have to, your treatment expenses goes up, and you cannot go back to your normal work. Normal health will be there, will not be there, and you suffer from the decreased health related quality of life. What is the solution? Solution is advancing the pharmacy practice. It is change in the mindset, in my opinion. Change in the mindset that one should not feel I'm the back of the counter. Please come forward. Instead of only taking out the medicines, talk to the patients. Change will automatically come. Patients gives wonderful stories. They'll explain so many problems. You understand a lot when you listen to them. Give a little helping hand, automatically the acceptance will increase, recognition by the public will increase. So that's the reason I felt it is advancing the pharmacy practice. In fact, when I was doing my master's in clinical pharmacy, I was, at that time itself it was 1,200 bedded teaching hospital. Now it is 1,800 bed teaching hospital. That time itself is a big hospital. Medicine 6 departments, means 6 units. Surgery 6 units, pediatrics 6 units, so many people, so many patients. And all the times all beds are full. Once we start our rounds by 9:30, many a times in post post OPD day, always used to be hell. Sometimes it go up to 1:30. So walking all the wards, looking into the patient records, and then talking to the patients, and then come out with your solutions. You talk to the doctor and convince him, changing the prescription. It's a wonderful experience. So when you involve yourself, when you open up yourself, things will change. That is what I wanted to say. Pharmacy practice, all of us know it happens both in community settings and the hospital pharmacy settings. Clinical pharmacy is the specialty which came out in the hospital pharmacy practice. Predominantly community pharmacy, because 80% of the public are in the community settings, only 20% go to the hospital. 80% they are in the community setting, GP practice, that outpatient practice. Now, what happens in the community pharmacy practice? Let us just analyze one by one. I also want to give some kind of the change in the thought process for these budding professionals, doctor of pharmacists, because I listen from them in my college or even in other colleges, that I wanted to share with you when the topic comes. So let us focus first what is community pharmacy practice. It's mainly, in our literal terminology, we call it as a medical shops. Medical shop. So it's a business center. But otherwise, overseas it is always termed as pharmacy. Community pharmacy. Yeah, that is anybody, they put the name pharmacy, they never put it as chemist and druggist, or they never put it as medical and general store. Right? So it looks very odd. Yeah, general items will be there, but does not mean it is a store. Though it is a store, you put it in a professional terminology, pharmacy. because the store they keep it, because the regulations is 120 square feet area. So what will be there? It's only a small store. If it is to be a pharmacy, at least minimum 200 square feet is needed, so that you feel this is little spreaded, and you have a place for the patients to sit, and there's a place for talking to the patient, there's a place for the display of the medicines, and there is a place for walking into the pharmacy, and people can talk and take, the things can happen. But the regulations need to be changed. What happens in the community pharmacy? Generally, processing of the prescriptions. The word processing is taking the prescription, looking into the prescription, and taking out the medications. That is a processing? No. Processing is analyzing the prescription for the regulatory issues, conveying the message to the prescriber, convincing the patient how to take the medicine. That is what is the processing of the prescription, apart from the dispensing of medicines. Care of patients and practicing the clinical pharmacy here in the community settings, that is the practice. Monitoring of drug utilization, how many medicines are being sold, quantity. The reason is sometimes abuse, misuse. Definitely it is a hazard to the society. So that to prevent, one should have a monitoring. For real health reasons it is being taken, excellent, but it's for just personal use unnecessarily. It's hazard. Then extemporaneous preparations, responding to minor ailments, offering the information regarding the medications to the public and other healthcare professionals, drug information. Health promotion service, domiciliary services, veterinary services, all this comes into the community pharmacy practice. Yeah, being you are a trained, qualified professional, all are the professional responsibilities. I was talking to you about the processing of the prescription. Here now in this pandemic, we have not thought patient medication records, maintaining the patient medication records in the pharmacy. But now the time has come to think every patient information must be there in your pharmacy. Their like past diagnosis history, present clinical conditions, present medications, labs information, everything should be there in the system. That is what now people are talking about, the electronic health records. One, like your Aadhaar card, one ID number is given. If it is accessible, if it is put it into the cloud, anywhere from anywhere you can access it. So that is the need of the hour. Slowly it is coming up. So it is pharmacies. Earlier, no pharmacy used to have the computer. After introducing that VAT, GST now, which is termed, everybody started putting their systems. It's only for the billing purpose. Now it is equally important to maintain the patient healthcare records. That's very, very important. Then processing of the prescription is very important. You can analyze the regulatory issues there. Professional dispensing is looking into prescription, taking out the right medication, because there is a challenge always. That is like you find, with the similar names, sound alike, look alike drugs, Lhasa. This is a big challenge. When you want to check properly and give the right medication. That is called as professional dispensing. Medication counseling, educating the patient how to use the medicines which are dispensed to them, like taking an inhaler, pricking a insulin injection, using a pessary. Everything has to be properly educated to the patient. Then only they get the right therapeutic benefit. Medication usage instructions. This is all I have collected from Australia. When I was working there, I was learning the concept. And patient leaflets. This is all called as a patient information leaflets with respect to the medications, with respect to the diseases. They are just displayed in the pharmacy. That is where the professional environment comes, and don't say that in India it is all being practiced or not. There are some pharmacies which are practicing this, especially in metros in Mumbai. There are some pharmacies they do it. In Panjim, Goa, my friend he practices Hindu pharmacy, which is run by Mr. Raj Vaidya. They practice it. They do healthcare, like health screening services. They check the BP, they check the blood sugar levels, they check the lung function through peak flow meter. Yeah, it's all being done. It's all happening. Not that something like health promotion, talking to the patient about the family planning issues, the HIV problem, even the erectile dysfunction problem, immunization. These are all the issues where healthcare professionals are needed. Like pharmacists, they, as I said, they are easily accessible. They come and ask, but when you maintain that confidentiality and when you give that a supporting hand, people will come. They will just walk into a pharmacy. They'll recognize you. They respect you, and they don't mind even remunerate you. See, that is what is going to happen. Responding to minor ailments, health screening, it's happening in India. It is not that only happening in overseas. The change has already started in India. HMR, home medicines review concept. It's something amazing concept which I learned in Australia. We have done some good research projects in Mysore when I was working there. It's a federal funded, Australian government funded project where a trained HMR pharmacist who is given a case, like general practitioners who work in the community setting, they, when they find that their patients are not responding to the treatment properly, then they think whether there is any problem with the treatment. Then they want to involve a pharmacist, HMR pharmacist, and they send a request to the HMR pharmacists. They're all accredited pharmacists. Identified, they have to write a separate examination, they have to qualify as HMR pharmacists. And once you are an HMR pharmacist, you can put yourself into the, you can market yourself. You can send your name to the government, you can send your name to the doctors, and the doctors, they give an opportunity to you, and you are supposed to meet the doctor, understand the whole case, then take the complete patient medication records, then go to the patient's house after taking an appointment with the patient. At the convenience of the patient, you visit the patient, you analyze the medications, you analyze the patient clinical condition, you analyze why the patient is really not able to get the benefit of the treatment. And if you find any errors in the prescription, any challenges which are there, patient did not understood how to take it, then you record everything and have a consultation with the doctor once again. Tell this is what is the problem with the patient, and then you change all those things once the patient comes back to the normal. It's a service for which the pharmacist is paid per patient $140 by the Australian government, whereas the doctor gets only $80. This is the recognition. Hospital pharmacy, it's widespread. As I mentioned, predominantly activities take place is the purchase, storage, distribution, and dispensing. In 1960s, the concept of the word pharmacy came because every now and then after 60, there are so many drug molecules flooded into the market because of the new health challenges, new clinical conditions, and as a result, more drugs have to be prescribed. A lot of drug-related issues started sprouting out, and then then people felt, because It is not like just giving a prescription. If something goes wrong, you are at the task. There is a committee, drug auditing committee, and treatment auditing committee will be there. Why this medication is being given? Why this patient is into the trouble? Is it because of any unnecessary medication? So as a result, the uh, chance for the clinical pharmacist erupted there. They felt there is a professional who is expertised in the treatment should be there along with the clinician in the wards. The objective of this is to reduce the medication errors. That's where the clinical pharmacist has started coming into the picture. All of us know the definition. It's a simple branch of pharmacy in which clinical pharmacists provide direct patient care through the consultants, of course, to optimize the use of medications and also promote the health and well-being of the individual so that you can prevent the disease. See that the patient goes out of the hospital smilingly. Starting from the patient admission till the discharge, the role of clinical pharmacist is so high. I don't know how many of the interns really they do this job. Starting from the admission, the moment patient gets admitted to the ward, go and read the case record. Have a word with the consultant. Analyze the complete case history. Analyze the treatment. Analyze any issues are there. In a very polite tone, message can be conveyed to your consultant. So that the consultant also should not feel you are a threat there. Consultant should feel that you are a support there. Then your services are all accepted. Discharge counseling, NABH requirement it is. In my hospital we do it. NABH coordinator says every day this many patients are getting discharged. Before they get the discharge summary, I want the patient should be counseled about the medications. A report must be given to me. Wonderful opportunity for the clinical pharmacists. Educate, take the numbers of the patients, monitor, see the change, wonderful change will be there. All of us know how do we provide the patient care in the hospital as clinical pharmacists. It's not just going to the ward. There is so much that we can do in the ward. Starting from reviewing the treatment chart, counseling the patient, analyzing the drug-related issues and conveying the information to the consultant, offering very relevant information which is really critically evaluated and reviewed information from the different resources and passing on this information to the doctors and monitoring the patients, following the patients for any adverse events and then reporting them to the hospital ADR cell, rather to PVPI, and especially with the narrow therapeutic index drugs, monitoring them for the dosage. This is all that we can contribute a lot to the patient. That's all what is our expertise, skill. If I demonstrate them with a polite and smiling face, I can tell you, doctors will accept us. When we show them that we are something like, no, hey, here is a drug-related problem, then they'll say, who the hell you are here? Instead, if you understand, so this is what is the problem, it looks like maybe the adverse event has occurred because of this. If it is really therapeutically challenging interaction, you have evidence, go through the evidence. With that evidence, if you convince, doctor will listen, not by words, with evidence. It's an art, not what we learned in the clinical pharmacy classroom happens. When we practice, understand the doctor, their psychology, understand the patient psychology, how we convince them. It's a wonderful game, talking to the people, understanding them, and supporting them. It's a game. Once you start enjoying the game, the more recognition will come for the clinical pharmacists. Why do we have to do all this? To optimize the drug therapy, to use medicines qualitatively, and of course, to minimize unwanted adverse drug reactions and improve the health related quality of life in the patients. These are all the objectives of the clinical pharmacy services. Through this service, what are we trying to achieve? Maximizing their clinical effect. That means we are doing something good for the patients. Minimizing the risk of treatment. That means we are not doing any harm to the patients. Minimizing the cost of treatment. We are giving the justice to the patient's earnings. Respecting the patient choices. Fulfilling the patient's desire. Through the clinical pharmacy, we are trying to achieve all these things. The Association of this National Accrediting Board for Hospitals and Hospital Services, NABH, there is a chapter in the accreditation requirements, chapter 3, called as Management of Medicines. Everything should be put in a proper fashion, starting from the procurement, right storage, safe dispensing, whether you have a formulary in the hospital, preventing medication errors, you have any system of reporting the medication errors, monitoring patients for the safe use of medicines, counseling, that is post-discharging counseling, storage and dispensing of investigational drugs. You have any clinical trial activity, if it is happening, do you have a monitoring cell there? Maintaining the psychotropic drugs, special vaults for them. See, all these are all the requirements, and you have been trained, and you have to deliver these responsibilities, deliver these services. Then, obviously, hospitals. NABH wants to meet this chapter 3, a clinical pharmacist. Clinical pharmacists, I had an opportunity to interact with the CEO of NABH, Dr. Kalra. When I negotiated, when I explained what is meaning of clinical pharmacy and giving the definition of our pharmacy practice, like the PCI PharmD curriculum to him, and then he realized, yes, he is the clinical pharmacist. Then they have changed the definition. Then they have changed the qualification as PharmD. So NABH says clinical pharmacist is needed, means PharmD people are required there. Now, the question is, are we, through our services, maybe in the community setting, maybe in the hospital setting, maybe in the clinical setting, whatever it is, are we really contributing something to support the public health, support the government in terms of saving the money? How we are adding value? When we devise that in 3 different spheres, like clinical outcomes, humanistic outcomes, economic outcomes. Probably you might have heard, very loosely used that word. Outcomes research. Assessing the outcomes research, like, assessing the knowledge, attitude, practices of the patients towards use of some medications. Whether that is giving a significant value, significant change in the activity, significant change in the patient outcomes, that makes sense. That will be accepted by the government. That is what is lacking. Why PharmD people are not given opportunity in the government settings or even in the public setting, in the private setting? Thanks to NABH and JCI, because of chapter 3 in NABH and chapter 7 in JCI, the clinical pharmacists are there. Now it is a time we have to generate the data, show the data to the government, that pharmacists in the community setting, in the hospital setting, they add a lot of value to the public health. add a lot of value in saving the money to the government. If that warm is put into the minds of the government, I'm sure the job opportunities for the clinical pharmacists will be high in the government settings. Here, always we take the Western benchmarks, whether clinical pharmacist is needed now. Why clinical pharmacist is needed, what he is going to do, how he is going to save the money. Now, it is not just by words anybody will accept unless you have a scientific evidence, a research evidence with figures, numbers. If they are there, people will mobilize. That's why I felt the data from the different countries better to take and show it to the people that why the pharmacists are recognized in western part of the world. In 2015, I got an opportunity to undergo almost a month-long training in University of North Carolina teaching hospital. It is purely federal funded. The state government of North Carolina, it's a North Carolina state. So North Carolina state government funds completely the hospital, the complete university. It's a federal funded university. The fees are very nominal there. It is because it's one of the top rated universities. And especially for pharmacy, it is actually Eshelman School of Pharmacy. It is a #1 pharmacy school in US. They get millions and millions of dollars from the government as a funds for conducting the research. State-of-art technology, state-of-art facilities. And the global dean is an Indian who studied from the Bombay College of Pharmacy, Dr. Dhiren Thakkar. I got this opportunity thanks to the Almighty. It is when I was going to the Pharma Bridge program, I just felt an interest to go to US and then get trained. Initially, I got opportunity in Michigan hospital, but in the Michigan University, but unfortunately because of the visa problems, I could not able to get it. Later, the coordinator, Agati, unfortunately, she recently she is retired from the activity. She called me personally, and then she inquired why you could not go to Michigan. Then I explained the problem, and then she literally said, "No, no, no, don't worry. I will support you with one of the best schools." So in fortnight, I got another offer, and luckily, I could able to get my visa within time, and then I could able to go fast. She has, in fact, apart from the FIP funding, she has also personal contribution. She gave me $2,000. It was a wonderful experience. So the director of the pharmacy at the University of North Carolina Hospital, Dr. Stephen Eckel, a great personality, dynamic fellow. For 350 bed hospital, they have 35 clinical pharmacists. Then I asked question, see, it is very difficult for us to get one clinical pharmacist, maintain one clinical pharmacist. How could he able to maintain 35 clinical pharmacists? For every dollar they spend on clinical pharmacists, the government expects $20 to be saved by the clinical pharmacists. So that much of work is there. I've seen in the community settings, 80% of their PharmD graduates, they settle in community pharmacies. And the pay is, minimum starting is $130,000 to $140,000 per annum. Clinical pharmacists almost they get the same initial stages, but the more they gain experience and become expertise and specialize like oncology or renal or intervention cardiovascular, psychiatry, then your pay packet goes more than $200,000. It's all how much we give, the returns comes to us. So there are all the evidences which I wanted to share, and that is what is the need for all of us to generate the evidence. Here, I just wanted to highlight one point regarding ClinRex, because my friend Dr. Sitaram has mentioned this ClinRex. What is all about it? When we were studying in JSS in the postgraduate, honestly, it was a kind of big challenge for us to learn the concepts, big challenge for us to understand, deliver the service. Thanks to our management who has liaised with the University of South Australia, so the clinical pharmacists, they came and they explained us, they took us, they hold our hands and they took to the wards and helped us to like analyze each and every treatment chart, identify drug-related issues, counsel the patients. They literally, it was like feeding the food to us. Then I was thinking, we don't have any documentation. Why don't we come out with something? And there was drug facts. There was one software which came from the UK. Somebody sent to me. I don't know how I got it, but somebody had sent to me, which when I was verifying, see, you integrate everything, then you get a lot of information. So that was the seed. And I immediately applied for the UGC. I got a project for about 5 lakhs, but unfortunately, I don't have support from the engineering college or the IT department. Everybody felt, no, this is literally not possible at this moment. Later in 2014, once again we revised. Once again we thought we could able to become, because of the team, I could able to become successful in making the dream into reality. It is powered with artificial intelligence, powered with the machine learning. You feed the data, it analyzes the data, identifies. Simple example, if there is a renal challenge, a dose which is already given, if it is a normal dose, immediately the clinic says, this dose is too much for this patient. This is what a clinical pharmacist is expected to do. That cue will be given by the clinical pharmacist. Cue will be given by the clinics. So that way, it was my dream. I just put it into the system and it came out. And yeah, there is a good acceptance for this product. Commercially, it is not. We just want to contribute to the profession. Here, a clinical pharmacist presence definitely makes sense. A study which is conducted by Michael Dooley, published in British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology, says that the annualized cost savings relating to the length of stay, readmission, drugs, medical procedures, and laboratory monitoring as a result of clinical pharmacists initiated changes to the hospitalized patient management or therapy was almost $4 million, $4.5 million for 8 major acute care hospitals in Australia. $4.5 million saving. Definitely, it is a contribution. That is what the government expects. A study showed that as the number of pharmacists involved in patient care rose in US hospitals, medication error rates decreased from an average of 700 per hospital per year to 245 per hospital per year. Significant decrease, 65%, published in Pharmacotherapy. The direct participation of a pharmacist on a patient care team significantly decreased pharmacy and hospital costs as well as length of stay compared with minimal participation of a pharmacist. American Journal of Health System Pharmacy. 78% fewer preventable adverse events occurred among patients in a hospital's general medicine unit when a pharmacist participated in a weekly or weekday medical rounds. Preventable adverse events in an ICU decreased by 66% when a pharmacist was present on rounds as a full member of the patient care team. Pharmacists providing pharmaceutical care in 1,000 US hospitals saved nearly 400 lives and $5.1 billion in healthcare costs. That is what the society expects. Patients treated with the blood thinners in a pharmacist managed anticoagulation clinic had fewer emergency room visits, fewer hospitalizations, and showed a cost savings of $1,621 per patient. Probably you are charging $100 as your fee, but you are saving $1,621. That means still you are giving $1,500 saving to the patient. Pharmacist medication recommendations improved clinical outcomes in over 30% of cases at a Veterans Administration Medical Center, saving more than $420,000. Outcomes in heart failure can be improved with a clinical pharmacist as a member of the multidisciplinary heart failure team. Hospitals save nearly $17 in benefits to patients per each $1 invested in clinical pharmacy services. Pharmacists providing services for, that is, health managed organization to patients saved an average of $20 per prescription. Pharmacists providing pharmaceutical care to patients in an ambulatory care clinic saved nearly $250,000 in a month. Pharmacists collaborating with physicians to care for high-risk patients reduced the number of prescriptions per patient, saved nearly $600 per year per patient in drug costs. Pharmacy service saved over $75,000 in 3 months and prevented additional medical problems which are occurring by identifying the prescription errors. So my friends, pharmacy, it's a wonderful profession. Only thing, yesterday I was reading one good book, The Leadership Practices, because being the teacher, researcher, now the administrator, wanted to understand the intricacies, how I should fine tune myself so that I can deliver the best services wherever I'm working. There is one word which is really powered me a lot. The word it is called as PhD, not our regular academic PhD. P stands for passion. You have to have that passion. H stands for hunger, hungry for learning everything. D stands for desire. Unless you have desire, unless you are motivated, we cannot achieve anything as a professional. So the WHO and the FIP has given the pharmacist status having 7 stars. What is the 7-star pharmacist? Is a caregiver, is a teacher, is a decision maker, is a communicator, is a manager, is a lifelong learner, and finally will become a leader. Friends, this is something amazing, translating ourselves, transforming ourselves to the society's needs and helping the society's health. That is what we call public health. Then we will be recognized. I'm not joking. We have done a lot of research studies. After I joined here in Suryapet, we have done one research study, did one health status survey in the community. We have identified 10% of the individuals having the disease but they don't know, that is newly detection of the disease, and we recommended them to meet the doctor. We followed up the patient and we educated them continuously. and there is a tremendous improvement in their health, and that's how the patient has got the best benefit. What is needed? Simple changes on the policies regarding the professional responsibilities. That's how the pharmacy practice regulations 2015, it is approved by the ministry, it is given out by the PCI, but only the question is implementation needed. That is what is needed. Implementation of the pharmacy practice regulations. Simple, I expect, if the change, if at all to start, every pharmacy should be manned by a registered pharmacist physically present in the pharmacy, wearing an apron. Will change the trend, will change the public acceptance. I'm not joking, that is a reality. Reality because I have the evidence, with that evidence I'm speaking. Way back in 2005 to 2010, I think I was invited by the AOCD, that is All India Organization for Chemists and Druggists, in association with the Maharashtra State Pharmacy Council. Every Friday, Saturday I used to be there in Mumbai to conduct the training programs for the pharmacists. And the pharmacist training, it is not just 1 day or a half a day. It was 3 days to 5 days, and they're all stationed in Mumbai. They used to come from different parts of the Maharashtra and they used to stay there. After getting that training, it is called as patient counseling course, which I was the coordinator for the whole program, devised the whole program, and we conducted it. Many people, they have changed the attire of the pharmacy. They started wearing the apron. I kept a separate space for the counseling, and some pharmacists have started nebulization services. In Navi Mumbai, there's one pharmacy which started the nebulization service, and nearby all pulmonologists in emergency, they used to send their patients to this pharmacist and do the nebulization so that the patients, the lungs are protected. Next day, the pulmonologist used to take care. Many people started checking the blood pressures and the blood glucose levels, and then they started maintaining the diabetic clinics. Surprising. Diabetic pharmacies in Sangli, one pharmacist, he started. With the success of one pharmacy, he increased the number to 9 in Sangli city itself. And later he developed one in Pune. Yeah, that is the success, which is not that I'm speaking out of text. It's all practices which are people doing it. The Pharmacy Act 1948 very clearly mentions about the pharmacy practice. Practice of pharmacy, interpretation, evaluation, implementation of medical orders, dispensing of prescriptions, drug orders, participation in drug and device selection, drug administration, drug regimen reviews, and drug-related research, provisions of patient counseling, and the provision of those acts or services necessary to provide pharmaceutical care in all areas of patient care, including the primary care, and responsibility for compounding and labeling of drugs and devices, proper and safe storage of drugs and devices, and maintenance of proper records of them, electronic health records, compounding, dispensing, distribution, patient counseling, pharmaceutical care, pharmacy practitioner, community pharmacists, hospital pharmacists, drug information pharmacists, clinical pharmacists, registered pharmacists, prescriptions. They're all the definitions given by the Act. Only we read in the pharmaceutical jurisprudence, but we don't like to put it into the practice. PCI has brought out a new program, Doctor of Pharmacy, clinical pharmacy. It is pharmacy practitioner basically. I don't mention because in overseas in US, PharmD people are only supposed to practice the pharmacy, whether it is in community, whether it is in hospital, whether it is in clinical. Yes, depending upon their ability, depending upon their intelligence, depending upon their wish, they can contribute. Friends, thanks a lot for staying with me. Before we end the session, I just wanted to brush up what we have learned so that you can take some vital messages, so that your brain can think little about these points. Like all of us know that number of pharmaceutical products are increasing and posing challenges to the individual health. Pharmaceutical care offers the solution and empowers pharmacists as a profession. Then it is very important for all of us to understand the pharmacy practice regulations. Not understand alone is sufficient. Implement them is very, very important. When we implement them, then we will become the 7-star pharmacists. It is our goal. We should become the 7-star pharmacists. I hope you got the clarity, what you are expected to do, how do you want it to go about after completion of your PharmD. Want to work in the hospital settings, want to work in the community settings, never hesitate. I'll tell you, don't only think that clinical pharmacist position definitely will come. But we need other options where we can deliver our services, community settings, a huge niche area. We can definitely do it. If you are having the talent, if you are having that skill, if you are having that passion, go for clinical pharmacy. Definitely you will flourish. Any questions? I'm always there. Any support? I'm always there with you to hold your hand, take you into the right path of the profession. Thank you very much. Wishing a wonderful, bright future for all these budding professionals. Make your ways forward. Show the beacons to the next generations of you. Thank you very much to the administration, management of Hindu Educational Society and the College of Pharmacy. Thank you very much, Dr. Sitaramaya Garu, giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and views to my younger professionals. Thank you very much to everybody for patiently listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's a wonderful session. It's a fortunate to have a great speaker like you. And you are a visionary of pharmacy in India. So it's a great, wonderful session on what are the skills required for the pharmacist, future pharmacist, what are the skills like patient counseling, therapeutic drug monitoring, pharmaceutical care, profession of pharmacy, and the management of the medicines, ADR monitoring, rational use of medicines. They are the very good points, sir. They are the very important skills required for a community or a hospital or the clinical pharmacist. Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's a great session. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Manas Kumar to conduct a question and answer session. Welcome, sir. Over to the Dr. Manas Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. There are a couple of questions. Just a couple of questions. And the first question is this syllabus of PharmD, which we are following, is sufficient to compete globally or even in India to have a sound knowledge? So first question.
Wonderful question. It's a great question. Thanks to the questioner who actually asked this question. Well, I'm sure it is definitely a PharmD student probably.
Actually, it's my question, sir.
Excellent. Probably it's a good, it's a wonderful question. I really appreciate that question.
Thank you, sir.
Being a teacher, see, when we started the B pharmacy in good olden days, probably in 1930s, what I'm talking is, those days, in fact, it was B pharmacy for 3 years. It is BSc pharmacy by the Banaras Indian University. That was the first university to start the pharmacy program. Nobody knows what is actually needed. But later on, the industrialization concept grown, felt that, every time, these are all the new ideas the students should have, new learnings the students should have, new competencies the students should have. That's how we progressed and we made a mark in the pharmaceutical manufacturing and the research. It took so many years to come out. to prove ourselves worth in the world. Coming to the pharmacy practice, Pharm D syllabus especially, yeah, it is not that the syllabus what was given in the current regulations. Current regulations means no changes have happened yet. So current regulations, what it is there. The syllabus is extremely good. We can segregate them into three different types of the syllabuses. One is pharmaceutical sciences, like your physics, chemistry, ecology, cognosy and medicinal chemistry, all that comes into analysis, all that comes into the pharmaceutical sciences component. Clinical sciences like community pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, then clinical pharmacy, therapeutics, epidemiology, economics, and clinical research, and all that comes into the clinical sciences. And biomedical sciences like pathophysiology, pharmacology, and all that comes into the biomedical sciences. It's all given by the experts. They came out with the syllabus keeping the program objectives, the course objectives, and course outcomes. Course outcomes always looks at the competency of the student so that he can become a professional, he can take up a job. So that is what is the course outcomes. So PharmD course outcomes are devised that the competencies to be improvised. Now the question is, I don't see any problem with the syllabus at all. What is the problem I see is, it's a very simple logic. Let us take a very simplest example. Tank, tap. Very simple example. I'm not giving any complex example. Tank, water which is there in the tank, when you open the tap, only the same water which is there in the tank comes into the tap. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So tank you refer as a teacher, tap you refer as a student. If it is sweet water in the tank, sweet water only will come from the tap. You agree?
Yeah.
Especially therapeutics. A clinical pharmacist is expected to analyze the treatment, identify drug-related issues, and resolve them. That is the confidence level of a student. Let us put a hand on our heart, confidently say how many of the students really trained in this angle at the bedside. What kind of confidence will be there in the students when they come out of the program? Simple question. Probably handful institutions might be happening, but majority institutions, the challenge is still existing. It is, we feel therapeutics is only to be taught in the classroom. As long as that kind of mindset is there, the student will never learn, only will have the theory knowledge. But theory knowledge to be put into the practice at the bedside with different patients. That is the competency level. That is where we put the clinics so that the students can get cues from the prescriptions and could able to talk to the doctors and to the patients. I don't blame any teacher here, because when PharmD program was introduced, pharmacy practice program was just came in 1997, 2010 years. And in 10 years, the PharmD program was introduced. And pharmacy practice, when it was introduced in 1907, only JSS, Mysore and Ooty were having 8 seats, means 8 professionals qualified. Out of that, in Mysore only 2 were there and 2 went to abroad. From Ooty, all went abroad. And then subsequent batches, no, majority they went abroad. It's hardly few people they remained in the country and they continued as faculty. And some people even went abroad. Recently, few of my students went to Dubai, went to Saudi, Qatar, yeah, different places they had gone. So everybody wants money, everybody wants, but it is the situation the country needs somebody to be there, hold it, raise it. So that is what is the challenge. In fact, when I was there in Mysore, I conducted 2 faculty development training programs, FDPs, by ACT for only pharmacy practice faculty. For only pharmacy practice faculty, I have conducted 2 training programs, calling every time 50 teachers pan India, paying them TA, keeping them in a good accommodation, free of cost, free food, giving the training completely free of cost. Almost 100 participants took the training. But I have not seen anything which later developed, because I requested all that 50 to be there in as a team. Let us share the experiences, let us continue to progress. This was my desire. But nobody, after leaving from Mysore, nobody even bothered to send a thank you note. We got something. Nobody bothered. So the relationship end there only. No, as long as we have this kind of the mindset, we can't progress. See, I still remember Agati. She has given me that opportunity to go to UNC. When I went there, I had a training. People who supported me, I still keep messaging, mailing, and last year also I had been to UNC. There was a wonderful welcome, and we had spent 2 full days, and look forward for a kind of collaboration with UNC for student exchange and collaborative research. This is, unless we have that kind of the passion, it's very difficult. So, course, absolutely wonderful course. The delivery point, now it is needed. It is very, very essential for the teachers to update themselves, improve themselves, yeah, get trained themselves. Never hesitate. Even small concept, if I'm not knowing, I should not feel bad. Let me go. Even my student is delivering. Let me sit in the class. Let me understand the concept if I'm not knowing. This is what is very important for a professional. So as long as we update ourselves, as long as we are sold out, things will be tremendous. So course content point of view, it's not really, I don't see any negativity, but anyhow, you have asked question. The PC has started churning on this, wants to be little more informative, more like with a structured syllabus they want to come out. Probably, maybe in another half year, probably in another 6 months, things will change. I'm looking forward for that.
Thank you, sir. So next question is, why do you think that clinical pharmacist career is still a challenge for the government to start a role in government hospitals?
Okay, very good. Another good question.
This from the students.
Yeah, obviously, I understand that. Now, I wanted to just give an example. If you are running a small hospital, you want a doctor to be there. You want to appoint a doctor. Now, what kind of competencies you look in the doctor? Just simply come to the hospital, spend time, treat something and go, or who can be supportive to the patient so that the more patient turnout will be there. This is what is expected. Similarly, in the government, from the ages, it is only the doctors, they have in mind set that only the doctors will treat the patients. In India, this is what is the concept. Now, pharmacists always are given only for procurement, stocking, and dispensing. The government felt like, okay, this is what is the responsibility. Even in the recent the national health policy, there is no word about the pharmacist. That means we have not created any impact on the government. Government, probably you're also looking, the government schemes and the government funding. Recently in Telangana, KCR had given 8,000 crores for Rait Bandhu scheme. In Andhra Pradesh also recently, I think 4 or 5 days back, even Jagan had also given some money. Reason is very simple, they are vote bank. There is something they are going to get back, that's why they are investing. Here also, in what way we are giving back to them, that is the question. If we have evidences, research evidences, by my counseling, if I have 100 patients who are using inhalers, I am counseling them. And because of my counseling, their lung function has improved because they are able to use the inhaler properly. This is the data, this is the statistical significance. If I prove it, that means my presence is making a sense. Similarly, I am stocking the medicines, I am distributing the medicines, proper conditions I am maintaining, there is no pilferage, this much of money is saved by my presence in the pharmacy. The government will appreciate. Government will appreciate anything in terms of the money when you are saving. So that is the data. Now it is we need to provide. Question is, don't we have any opportunity? Tremendous opportunities there in India, because government of India spends almost 5,000 crores for only pharmacy services. If we are able to save at least 1,000 crores out of that 5,000 crores in terms of giving the right medication to the patient, government will be happy spending 100 crores on hiring the clinical pharmacists. They never care, they were never mind, because still 900 crores are saved to them. And people are employed, people get life. That is the data which is missing now. We all have to, it is not me alone, we all have to, means the pharmacy schools who are running the pharmacy departments, who do the fifth year dissertations, these kind of evidence based informations kind of research is done, and we come out with the data which is showing them there's a lot of money saved by the clinical pharmacy services, and we project it through the like policymakers to the government. Probably definitely there will be a change will come, and government also will accept clinical pharmacist positions. That is the question. It is there in the minds of the government. Now we have to change that mindset with the data. People will say, okay, there is a change, come on, let us appoint. That's how, if you see that PVPI actually, pharmacovigilance program of India, they have identified almost 360 AMCs in different medical colleges, where they have appointed PharmD people as the technical assistant, paying around 25 to 30,000 rupees. So that is a change. So each hospital has got. And recently, we have also negotiated with the PCI president. Why not MCI make a rule to have clinical pharmacy department in every teaching hospital? Probably the changes will come. Even MCI is a learned body. It's a medical education regulating body, a learned body. So if they also feel, because it is not that it is a charity, scientific evidences, they also look at it, how we can change the bring the evidence-based medicine practice in the regular practice. Then they understand. Then they will also say, yes, NABH is wanting, JCA is wanting. What is the problem having a clinical pharmacy department in every teaching hospital? 450 teaching hospitals are there. Every teaching hospital having one clinical pharmacy department, having at least 2 or 3, just to see the change. Now generate the data, give it to the government, every district hospital. That's how slowly the employment opportunities have to be created. We can't blame the government. It is, we have to prove to the government that we are worth for having us in the government. That is what is needed now. Everybody, every institution's efforts developing the research data to support to the government, so that hope in a couple of years, small change definitely is going to happen. That much guarantee I can assure. Small change probably in the teaching hospitals is likely to happen. That much guarantee, because I have that information. So based on that, I am trying to tell. But in the government, maybe it take little time.
So one more question has been arrived just now.
No
That
worries.
the robots are replacing the professionals in industries as well as in pharmacies too. How can
Robots,
it be challenged?
yeah, it is not a threat. Actually, see, everything, we look for that alternative because we could not able to meet the challenge. Say, like for example, this COVID situation. Physical contact is always a challenge. A robot can take it, that responsibility. After all, it is only to fill the prescription. It is you fill the prescription, it will deliver the medicine. That's very simple. So they will be replaced, but whenever that intellectual activity is there, your presence is mandate. After all, you have made the robots, so you know where to keep them, where you should be there. It is well clear to the individuals. So it is not that we are really going to be outdated or thrown out of the work, but definitely our presence makes a sense because we work with the people. Robots cannot talk to the people, they cannot console the people. It is only they do robotically, mechanically some work. It does not make any sense. So definitely clinical pharmacist presence will be needed. We definitely will be accepted by the doctors, accepted by the public, patients and government. It will come. Day is there for us.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Over thank you, sir. Over to Sadashiv.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for clarifying the few doubts or questions from the students and faculty. Now, I would like to invite Preeti Sitaramaya garu to say few words about this session. Please welcome, sir. So please check your connection.
Sir, please unmute.
మీ హెడ్ ఫోన్స్ కనెక్షన్ మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చెక్ చేయండి సార్.
Hello.
Okay.
Is it
Yes,
okay?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir.
It's audible.
Thank you very much. You have completely taken our students. What are the responsibilities when they are studying, working, and what are the advantages by appointing clinical pharmacists in hospitals, the advantages to the patients, government, hospitals, all those things. And you also experienced, you have also told about the importance of other services rendered by the clinical pharmacies and the efforts done by the Pharmacy Council of India to create employment opportunities for the PharmD students. I'm sure in due course of time, the government will definitely appoint PharmD students in all the teaching hospitals, and definitely good opportunities will be there. At the same time, they are also having good opportunities as safety officers, clinical pharmacists, medical transcription officers, so many those companies which are trying for approvals for new drugs, ANDA applications, they all need the services of the PharmD students. Only thing is, if they are good in the subject, as you suggested, and they can convince, they have to make the doctors feel that they are complement but not competent to their services. Then definitely their services will be recognized and they will be rewarded with suitable jobs. So thank you very much, sir, for your good session today. On behalf of our faculty, students, I thank you. Thank you, Sadasiva.
Thank you, sir. Next,
Thank you very much.
I would like to invite Vice Principal Ma'am, Dr. A. Sunita. Ma'am, please welcome ma'am to address the meeting.
Yeah, very good afternoon, one and all. Sir, we are happy to hear you. It's a wonderful lecture. Pharmacists are an important cog in the healthcare system. The patients will be prescribed medication that is the responsibility of a pharmacist to check, prepare, and dispense. But it's not as simple as picking something up off a shelf and handing it out. So pharmacists require a wide range of skills to be effective in their role. Sir has covered the value of pharmacy services, patient-centered care, and systems management, and must have abilities in next generation pharmacists. That sir has covered about the facilities which are still there is a noise, please. Yeah, skills required for the next generation pharmacists are self-directed learning, leadership, and advocacy. Pharmacists should be drug therapy manager. Sir, the topic which you have chosen is really useful to the all pharma fraternity. It's boosting us, the participants, to develop more confidence. Always, it is evergreen field, undoubtedly. So my dear students, you will have, if you have skills, definitely will have plenty of opportunities. I thank today's speaker, Dr. Adep Ramesh Garu, for his marvelous lecture, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Sri Prasad Rao Garu. Prasad Rao, sir. Sir, please welcome, sir.
Prasad Garu, namaskaram. Sir, unmute. Unmute your mic, please.
Sri, please check.
మేబీ సార్ మైక్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ అన్మ్యూట్ లోనే ఉన్నారు సార్.
Any earphones?
Ali, please make a call to sir. Just a few seconds, sir.
Sir. Sadashivarav garu. Sir Sitaramaya garu.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will continue.
Are we
Next.
continuing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Next, I would like to invite Dr. Manas Kumar to deliver the vote of thanks. Please welcome Manas.
Thank you, sir. I'm Dr. G. Manas Kumar, Assistant Professor from Department of Pharmacy Practice, Hindu College of Pharmacy. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all the abundance. The best thing in our professional life is our institutional management. So firstly, I want to thank from the bottom of my heart our honorary chairman, Dr. M. Radhakrishna Murthy garu, Chairman Sir Sri Jupudi Rangaraju garu, and our secretary and correspondent, Dr. S. Madhusudan Rao garu. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us the opportunity to organize and help us to accomplish it. I would also thank our principal, sir, Dr. R. Govindarajan garu, Vice Principal, Madam, Dr. A. Sunita garu, and our Founding Director and OSD, Sri P. Sitaramaya garu, and Lieutenant Colonel Prasad Rao garu in US Army. Special thanks to all the HODs and faculty members, and thanks to my colleagues and of Department of Pharmacy Practice. There is a saying that better than 1,000 days of diligent study is equal to 1 day with a great teacher. This is that 1 day for all of us. I thank wholeheartedly for gracing the occasion and making the session a special and memorable one by our today's speaker, Dr. Aditi Ramesh Garu, who is the principal of Vikas College of Pharmaceutical Sciences in Dayaliguda. Sir has enlightened us about the pharmacy profession and present day scenarios as well. Thank you so much, sir. Finally, I really want to thank all the participants for your presence and patient hearing, which made the day more special. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Over to Sadashiv.
Next, we close this program with the national anthem. Over to the technical team. Sridhar.
Hello, Sada sir.
Sir.
Prasad sir is online.
Okay. I would like to invite Sri Prasad Rao garu, retired Lieutenant Colonel. Sir, please welcome, sir.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you're audible.
All right. Ramesh, I'm very happy to see you. I'm glad you're doing a wonderful job. Right?
Thank you very much, sir.
No, it's my wish, right? It's my dream. Empower Indian pharmacists and empower Indian clinical pharmacists. I'm glad yesterday, the other day, when I showed the University of California, San Francisco Medical Center, that's where clinical pharmacy was born.
Yeah.
Mary Ann Corda Kimball during 1975, 1976. So I faced the same situation 45 years ago in USA. Now it's repeated in India, right?
Yes.
The need is there, especially during the Corona time and everything. I mean, our kids are highly talented, very knowledgeable. They're willing to serve the country. I don't know what's wrong, the politicians or administrators or everybody. They should be recognizing the clinical skills of the PharmDs. Now is the time more than anybody else. Always, whenever I get a chance in the Facebook, I always post empower Indian pharmacists, empower clinical pharmacists. Even I'm willing to talk to Venkaya Naidu and Kishan Reddy sir also, see if they can, Army, Navy, the Air Force. In America, military pharmacy is the biggest wing.
Yes.
They had a highly advanced research facility. All the new developments, clinical studies done, most of them in the Army research centers. Then they come out. I wish there is a better future for pharmacists. I know slowly a lot of hospitals and clinical, they're recognizing the skills. There should be more push. I hope for a better future. Ramesh, you know how many people are dying with renal failures, liver failures, heart attacks, and everything?
True.
Because there's no clinical pharmacist there to guide them.
Exactly. Those schedules, they are missing. People just casually simply give the medications. That is a challenge, that is an opportunity.
The doctors are busy, writing all the scannings and tests, this one and that one, everything. Somebody goes to the hospital with stomach ache, right? Yeah, total body scan. Or somebody goes with the headache, right? All the CT scans and everything. But after that, you don't have time to advise the patients. This way the clinical pharmacists come in place, therapeutic advice, drug information, and most important, drug interactions, adverse drug reactions. Nobody thinks about this, where hundreds of thousands of liver failures and kidney failures, heart attacks have died.
Yeah.
You know, in the newspaper, you see, oh, out of Hatan Marana. Okay, Rajaki Naikuru, cinema actor, Hatan Marana. Right? All the drug interactions with now with illegal drugs, alcohol, and lifestyle. Nobody wants to change their lifestyle. When somebody say, oh, I want best medicine from America. Yeah, sure, even oncology. Such a big ripoff for cancer patients.
Yeah.
People are dying with cancer already. They're suffering a lot. Whole families suffering. You know, most of the oncology chemotherapy, they're useless. Stage 2, 3. After stage 3, you know, people are spending 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, even 1, 2 crores.
True.
Everybody dies with suffering and agony. That's where the clinical pharmacist can bridge the gap and help the patient die happily.
Exactly.
The need is there. Now, how many colleges we have? We are producing like 30,000 clinical pharmacists every year. The need is there. Look at the ASHA workers getting 15 or 18,000 rupees a month. What are their skills? What is the skills of a medic or RMP or anybody? You know, even the girls in the supermarket and gold stores getting 10, 20,000 a month. Can they afford to give a decent pay to our students? I hope for a better time.
It is actually whatever you have said, it is most valid points. The problem here in India, the policy makers don't have that kind of vision. How much money the clinical pharmacists can save to the government? If they have that clarity, definitely they don't mind even paying 35 to 40,000 rupees for a clinical pharmacist. That is very easy. But now we have to put across the data so that policymakers can change their thought process.
Right. Last 3 years, I slowed down. I did not even go to any colleges or anywhere. I was kind of disappointed. Nothing, no moment, like you said. The student power has to come. Student has to come, rise. I know colleges have limited, their hands are tied. They cannot talk. Politicians, they don't care. You know, I thought there are 3, 4 pharmacists, they're MPs. They could come forward. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
There are 5 MPs, a lot of MLAs. I think our students should contest and come forward and work for the upliftment.
True. Now it is a time for all of us to support each other and put it across to the government, convince the government. That is a need.
Exactly. Now even everybody, even Modi started saying, you know, Ayushman Bhava, all these things, and come on.
Yes.
You know how many thousands of crores they're spending for fees reimbursement? Can they afford to provide employment for each student? How much are they spending every year? Just look at those statistics.
Sir, it is vote bank.
Thousands of crores they're sending all over India. Yeah.
It's a vote bank. I'm very sorry.
Like you said,
Please reimbursement. It's a vote bank. It's a eyewash.
right, right. And the hospitals are their business. They worry about their business. But we can make it better environment for everybody, patient, nurses, doctors, and the government. Like I said, patient can die happily.
True.
We cannot save them, but at least better environment. The future generations can have a better life.
Yes, sir.
That's what is important.
True, true, sir.
Like America, pharmacist is most respected, highly paid. We should have not similar, but our professional pride.
Yeah.
And our professional truly deserve that place in the medical field.
True, sir. True. Thank you very much, sir, for
And
your
pharmaceutical
words.
industry. Thank you. Nice talking to you. All the best for all of you.
Thanks, sir.
Best wishes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable suggestions and words about the career of the clinical pharmacist. Thank you, sir. Now, close this session with the national anthem. Over to the technical team, Sridhar.
विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय जय